welcome to Viewpoint. My name is Andriy, and right now I'm joined by the political consultant and elections expert, Mr. Andriy Valchyshyn. Andriy, welcome to Viewpoint.
Thank you, Volodymyr.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Well, Andriy, we spoke to you last time a few months ago. We were discussing the elections. Now we're just several days before the local elections in Ukraine, which are happening on October 25th. Can you tell us what you expect from them, what we can expect from the local elections in Ukraine?
Unfortunately, today I am way less optimistic than I was several months ago. We see that most prominent parties have some problems in their party lists, and none of the problems that were forecasted dealing with elections on the east of Ukraine and in other aspects, they were not solved.
When you're talking they have problems in their party lists, what do you mean by that?
You know that civic monitors, they have conducted deep monitoring of those lists. And basically what people expect from those elections, that our political elites, local political elites, that they will be renewed. Unfortunately, many of the old guys that were formerly in cooperation with Party of Region and with Yanukovych, they are again in those party lists.
Well, talking about the new renewal of people, during the parliamentary elections last year, there were a lot of hopes that the new people, the new faces will come to parliament, and some of them did. There was a large fraction of a new political party coming to the parliament, but unfortunately they proved to be disappointing. Most of them proved to be a big disappointment. They did not strive to make the reforms, they did not strive to make the changes, or even if they did, they didn't succeed. The changes which the people were hoping. If we're talking about the upcoming local elections, are we going to see the same disappointment? Are we going to see the new faces coming to power in their local municipalities, in their local districts, and not being able to change anything or not willing to change anything?
I am afraid that we will be even more disappointed that after parliamentary elections, because new people, those are not always people of a better quality. In many cases, those are just new faces that resemble and interests of old oligarchic groups. So we'll see some new people, and of course there will be some surprises, but the system hasn't changed. As you know, under current law, the passing barrier was significantly lifted from 3 to 5%, and big money is needed to pass through this barrier. And only big businesses and those people that are in power right now, they have sufficient resources to conduct such a large-scale political campaigns. Basically, no independent candidates are allowed, and all of those are reasons and all of those things, they create hardness for new people to come into power this autumn.
But what about the people, the electorate? What about the people who are electing the new candidates? You think they still are not realizing who they vote for? They still do not see that these are the very same people that used to be in the previous governments, that used to be in the previous power, and basically nothing will change for these people on the ground?
Unfortunately, people are tired. They are tired because of war. They are emotionally tired. It is first of all. Secondly, during the last year and a half, prices has risen by 80%, while incomes of people remained at the same level. So the segment of votes buying and other manipulations, populistic manipulations, is very popular and will be popular during those elections. So nevertheless, that there is some percentage of people that have changed their perception of the world. Biggest part of electorate remains the same. Those are the same old, the same women after 60s, yes, that decide the outcome of elections. So it is a really serious problem at this time.
Yeah, that's very disappointing. What about the regional specifics? The people in the eastern Ukraine traditionally used to vote for pro-Russian parties. Previously, this was the Party of Regions. What do you expect now will happen? Will the people in eastern Ukraine vote for the same pro-Russian parties, which now have transformed, which now have rebranded and have new names, new faces, but basically they are the same, and everybody knows that they are the same. So will these people who live in the eastern Ukraine vote for the same parties whose leadership brought, first of all, the crisis, and then to Ukraine, and then invited the war to eastern Ukraine?
I want to correct you a little bit. Those are people were not voting just for pro-Russian politicians. They were voting for local politicians that had factories, that have big businesses there. And during this election,
their essence was pro-Russian, always.
Of course, of course. At the same time, during this election, those people do not have any alternatives because no new parties came to Donbass after this part of those regions was freed from separatists. And the only hope is that there is some conflict between old guys from Party of Regions and some guys that separated from them. And Ukrainian political leadership tries to play on those problems and on those conflicts. But of course, it is not something new, not a fresh air in Donbass that we are going to see this fall.
So most likely we'll see the same people, the same faces representing the same interests.
Yes, and as you know, that heads of Donetsk and Luhansk state administrations, they warned that it is not appropriate to conduct elections right now. Why? Because no money were invested into the rebuild of infrastructure of Donbass. People of Donbass, they were not included in all Ukrainian informational field. And basically, no heads of big factories were changed since this time. And so we'll see the revanche of former regionals and new regionals, members of Party of Region right now.
Yeah, so it looks like the old guys will have still a lot of power in the cities on the ground. Andriy, my final question, in the context of decentralization, some experts said that the current local elections, the people who will be elected for the respective municipalities and city administrations, they will be elected for the period of roughly 2 years to prepare the decentralization reform to be concluded. And then when it's implemented and concluded, there will be new elections according to the new system and a new territorial division. Do you think this will happen? And do you think Ukraine will be able to conclude the decentralization reform in 2 years, or much more will be needed?
I agree with you, Volodymyr, because if we'll have constitutional changes only after 2 years, new local elections will be held. At the same time, these elections, they do not go under the mark of decentralization. They go under the mark of early parliamentary elections that many politicians expect next year. And basically what we can see during those campaigns, that very little is being told about local problems and local solutions. But even in Kyiv, even in small villages, people are talking about such things as professional army or our foreign policy, which is not directly connected to the local politics and the local policy.
Andriy, this is something new, definitely, for our viewers. Tell us a bit more about these unscheduled parliamentary elections for next year. What will be the grounds for scheduling the parliamentary elections?
There are some gossips inside the presidential administration and inside this politicum. You know that basically current coalition, it is not working appropriately. Radical party of Lyashko, they went out, stepped out of the coalition. Few members of Svoboda that were voting together with coalition, they are currently under repressions from Ukrainian government. Batькivshchina of Yulia Tymoshenko, she is highly critical towards current Prime Minister Yatsenyuk. And Samopomich also...
But the current polls of President Poroshenko as well as Prime Minister Yatsenyuk aren't that high. So do they really expect that their respective political parties will gain a lot of votes in the next year's parliamentary elections?
Mostly leaders of Batькivshchina, of Lyashko Radical Party, of Samopomich, they expect those elections because they understand that the ratings of Poroshenko and Yatsenyuk, they are quite low and that they can gain more power under the early parliamentary elections.
So what will be the technicalities? How will they and who will announce the early parliamentary elections?
If parliamentary coalition will be broken, and this current government, it will be not in action, then there are all of the judicial
background.
Yes,
For calling elections. Yeah, looks like some very interesting and intriguing facts you've told us, Andriy. Many thanks for finding the time to come and talk to us. We'll see how the things develop in respect of local elections as well. We'll look very carefully for the upcoming parliamentary elections if they take place.
Thank you.
This has been Volodymyr Sulup for Viewpoint, together with political consultant and elections expert, Mr. Andriy Valchyshyn. Thank you for watching us.